I'm sure you all know your father's bank accounts were completely empty before he passed, the lawyer said, his voice smooth and his smile stiff. The family stared at him, stunned. Empty? That made no sense. Their father had built everything from scratch. Properties, businesses, savings. How could all of it be gone? What the lawyer didn't realize was that the old man had been ready for this moment long before he took his final breath. And today, the truth was going to break wide open. The man sitting across from them, the liar, would regret ever thinking he could fool this family. Welcome to Stories with Mr. Gray. If you believe in exposing the truth and standing up for justice, hit subscribe, like, and drop your country's flag in the comments. Rain tapped steadily against the windows of Whitmore and Associates, mixing with the heavy silence in the office. The room smelled like old wood, strong cologne, and something else, something rotten, hidden just beneath the surface. On one side of the polished mahogany desk sat the Harper siblings, Marcus Harper, the oldest, mid-30s, calm and strong like stone. Danielle Harper, the middle child, late 20s, sharp, protective, and clearly suspicious. Then Isaiah Harper, the youngest, only 12, quiet but watchful, clutching a worn brown envelope tucked deep in the front pocket of his hoodie. Across from them sat Mr. William Whitmore, their father's longtime lawyer, a tall white man in his 50s wearing a suit that looked too perfect. His silver hair slicked back and a fake smile stretched across his face like old leather. Whitmore leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled, like he was enjoying the moment. "I believe you're aware your father's accounts were empty when he died," he repeated, his voice smooth but cold. Danielle's eyebrows pulled together. Marcus's jaw tightened. Isaiah's grip on the envelope got firmer. Empty? That couldn't be. Richard Harper, their father, had spent 40 years building a fortune, rental homes, businesses, farmland. And now he had nothing? Marcus spoke first, his voice calm but serious. "That's not possible. Our father was a wealthy man. He spent his life making sure we'd be secure." Whitmore let out a dramatic sigh, pulling a thick folder from his briefcase and sliding it slowly across the desk. "Bad investments? Unexpected debt? Legal fees? These things happen," he said. Over time, it all just faded away. Danielle leaned forward, her eyes locked on his. "Strange. He collected rent from 3 buildings just last month, and he had active accounts with 3 banks, not one." For a second, something flickered in Whitmore's eyes, a crack in the mask, before he covered it with another fake smile. "Sometimes, Miss Harper, things aren't what they seem. Your father had growing expenses. Even a ship doesn't sink until the last piece of wood rots away." Isaiah shifted in his chair, feeling the envelope press against his chest. He could hear his father's last words in his head. "If something feels off after I'm gone, you'll know when to act. Trust yourself, son." Marcus opened the folder, flipping through pages filled with complicated legal terms, debt records, notices, all printed too perfectly. "And what about the will?" he asked, his voice rising. "Where's the real will, the one he had notarized last year?" Whitmore gave a sorrowful shrug. "Sadly, without any assets, the will doesn't matter, and the original copy is missing." The air in the room grew thick, like all the oxygen had been drained. Isaiah looked at Marcus. Their eyes met. A silent message passed between them. Marcus slammed the folder shut, the sound sharp in the tense office. "You expect us to believe a man who owned 3 apartment buildings, 2 farms, and a chain of auto shops had nothing?" he growled, leaning closer. Whitmore didn't flinch, but his smile tightened. "Ownership isn't always what it seems." "Many of those businesses were deeply in debt," Whitmore said smoothly. "And your father's medical bills, lawsuits, penalties, they drained whatever was left." Danielle leaned in, her voice sharp and cold. "Then show us the paperwork, the mortgages, the lawsuits, the penalties." "Right now?" Whitmore hovered his hand over the desk, pretending to search through his documents. "Some files are confidential, or still under review," he said, after a pause, one that lasted just a little too long. Marcus narrowed his eyes. How convenient. The room seemed to grow heavier. Isaiah stayed silent, but his mind was racing. His father's words echoed again in his head. The one who smiles the most is usually hiding the most. Danielle crossed her arms tightly. "Mr. Whitmore," she said slowly, "2 weeks before Dad died, I took him myself to the county office. He paid his property taxes in full. No debts, no liens, no lawsuits. So unless you're talking about a different Richard Harper, you're lying." Whitmore's jaw twitched, just barely. "People can hide a lot in a short time," he said. "Maybe your father wasn't as honest as you thought." Marcus leaned forward, his voice low and dangerous. "Or maybe, Mr. Whitmore, you think we're too dumb to realize someone's stealing from us." The words hung in the air like a storm ready to break. Isaiah's heart pounded. This was it. The moment his father had warned him about. He reached into his hoodie, fingertips brushing the envelope. Not yet, he told himself. One more lie, just one more. Danielle delivered it. "One last question, Mr. Whitmore," she said, calm but deadly. "If there's really nothing left, why are you so eager for us to sign these settlement papers?" This time, Whitmore's smile cracked. For real. The smooth mask broke. For the first time, fear flickered behind his icy blue eyes. And in that silence, Isaiah knew. The time had come. The air in the office felt suddenly cold. Marcus and Danielle exchanged a look. They could feel it too. This wasn't just bad management, this was a setup. Whitmore gave a dry cough, trying to shift the mood. He shuffled the papers again, grasping at control. "Maybe we should continue this another day," he said, reaching for a different stack of documents. But Isaiah wasn't listening. While the adults argued, his small fingers carefully pulled the worn brown envelope from his hoodie. His heart thumped loudly in his ears. He looked down at it. Across the front, in his father's strong handwriting, were the words, "Only open if you can't trust them." Isaiah paused. Just a second. Then under the table he tore the envelope open, shielding it from view. Inside were two things, a small fee flash drive and a handwritten note folded in thirds. Isaiah unfolded it quickly. His eyes scanned the familiar writing. "Son, if you're reading this, it means I was right not to trust Mr. Whitmore. You have the proof now. Everything you need is on the drive. Protect your brother and sister. Bring the truth to light. I love you always, Dad." Isaiah's throat tightened as he held the note. His dad had known. He saw this betrayal coming, and he trusted Isaiah, just 12 years old, to fix it. Isaiah slipped the flash drive into his pocket. His mind raced. He needed a computer. He needed to see what was on it now. Across the desk, Whitmore was pushing more papers toward Marcus and Danielle, talking faster than before. His voice wasn't calm anymore. It was rushing, nervous. "Just a few formalities." "It's just a few signatures to make everything official," Whitmore insisted, trying to sound casual. Marcus slammed his hand down on the desk, making the folders jump. "We're not signing anything until we go through every document ourselves," he said sharply. Danielle stood up suddenly. "Isaiah, step outside for a moment," she said, gently but firmly. Isaiah nodded and quickly left the room, clutching the flash drive like it was the most important thing in the world. Cut to the hallway. Isaiah spotted the receptionist's empty desk. A laptop sat open, unattended. His heart pounded in his ears. He glanced around. No one was watching. He rushed over, pulled the flash drive from his pocket, and plugged it into the USB port. The screen blinked. One file appeared. "Confidential. Whitmore meeting, 2 weeks before death." Isaiah's hands trembled as he clicked play. The screen flickered, showing a grainy video. His father's study came into view, and there sat Mr. Whitmore, leaning back in a leather chair, wearing a smug smile. "Come on, Richard," Whitmore said casually. "You and I both know they won't notice what's missing. Leave it all to me. I'll take care of it quietly, no questions asked. A man like you wouldn't want the wrong people getting your money, right? Isaiah's stomach turned. Then came his father's voice, steady and firm. If you think I'll let you steal from my children because of the color of their skin, then you're a bigger fool than I thought. Whitmore let out a cold laugh. You won't be around to stop it, old man. The screen froze on Whitmore's smug face. Isaiah's hands clenched into fists. This was it. Proof of racism, of theft, of betrayal. Everything his father had warned them about was real. Isaiah yanked the flash drive from the laptop and tucked it deep into his pocket. His heart was pounding, but he forced himself to walk back to the office like nothing had happened. Calm, steady, he slipped quietly back into his chair. Across the desk, things had heated up. Marcus was on his feet, towering over Whitmore's desk, his face tight with fury. Danielle sat still, arms crossed, eyes locked onto Whitmore like she could see through him. Whitmore dabbed his mouth with a silk handkerchief, trying to hide the shake in his hand. "Mr. Whitmore," Marcus said, his voice low and dangerous, "you want us to sign settlement papers without showing the original will, without full statements, and without any outside audit of our father's estate?" "This is normal procedure," Whitmore lied smoothly. "The longer you delay, the more legal fees pile up. Better to close things quickly before more debts show up." Danielle leaned in, her voice calm but sharp. "You mean before we uncover the truth?" Whitmore's eyes twitched. He was slipping, and he knew it. Marcus let the settlement papers fall to the floor. "You're not getting any signatures from us," he growled. "Not today, not ever." Isaiah shifted in his seat. The flash drive felt hot in his pocket. It was time. He looked at Danielle. She saw it in his eyes. A small nod, a message only siblings could understand. Danielle gave a quiet smile. "Actually, Mr. Whitmore," she said sweetly, "we have something to show you before we go." Whitmore raised an eyebrow. "And what's that?" he sneered. Marcus reached over and pulled the receptionist's laptop onto the desk. Isaiah moved fast, pulling out the flash drive and plugging it in. Whitmore froze, his hand twitched, maybe reaching for the phone, maybe ready to make up one last excuse, but Marcus cut him off. "Don't move!" Isaiah opened the video file, the office filled with the crackling sound of the recording. Whitmore's own voice rang out. "Come on, Richard. You and I both know they won't notice what's missing." Whitmore turned ghostly pale. The video continued, louder, impossible to stop. "A man like you wouldn't want the wrong people getting your wealth, now would he?" Marcus's hands balled into fists. Danielle's lips pressed into a tight line. Isaiah stared at Whitmore without blinking. Then came the final blow. "You won't be around to stop it, old man." Silence followed. Deep, heavy. Whitmore didn't move. He sat, frozen, like a statue about to crack. Then Isaiah spoke for the first time. Isaiah spoke, his voice quiet, but every word hit like a hammer. "Dad knew you'd try to steal from us, and he trusted me to make sure you didn't get away with it." Whitmore swallowed hard, his polished confidence shattered. You have no idea what you're doing," he stammered. "You don't know how this works." Marcus leaned over the desk, cutting him off. "Oh, we know exactly how it works now." Danielle pulled out her phone, already dialing. "And so will the police," she said coldly. Whitmore opened his mouth, but no words came out. He had nothing left. He had just been outsmarted by a 12-year-old boy. The office door slammed open. Everyone jumped. It wasn't security. It wasn't a secretary. It was Sheriff Mitchell, tall and broad, wearing his full uniform. 2 deputies followed him in. This wasn't chance. Marcus had called the sheriff quietly while Isaiah played the video. Whitmore's face turned pale. "William Whitmore," the sheriff said, pulling a folded document from his jacket. "You're under investigation for fraud, forgery, and conspiracy to defraud the Harper estate." Whitmore jumped up from his chair, stumbling over his words. "This is insane. It's a mistake. I'm their legal representative." Sheriff Mitchell didn't blink. "Not anymore." He nodded. The deputies moved in, calm, professional. Firm Danielle stood strong, arms crossed. Marcus didn't move, but his rage had cooled into quiet victory. Isaiah stayed in his seat, calm and still, watching everything happen exactly as his father had said it would. The deputies moved fast. Whitmore's hands were pulled behind his back. The cuffs locked shut with a sharp click. "You can't do this," Whitmore shouted. "They're lying. They set me up." Sheriff Mitchell leaned in close. "We've got your voice on tape, Mr. Whitmore. Under the law, that's a confession." The office, once Whitmore's kingdom, had become his prison. Outside, word spread quickly. Small towns talk fast. As Whitmore was led away in handcuffs, clients in the waiting room gasped. Some pulled out their phones, recording every humiliating second. Danielle turned to Marcus and Isaiah. Her voice was proud and fierce. "Dad trusted us to protect his legacy, and we did." Marcus looked at Isaiah and gave him a rough but loving hair ruffle. "Especially this little man right here." Isaiah smiled, a real, rare smile. For the first time in weeks, he didn't feel small. He didn't feel powerless. He felt like he had done exactly what his father believed he could. He had protected his family. That evening, the three siblings sat around the old wooden kitchen table where their father once sat. The flash drive rested in the middle of the table like a treasure. The inheritance, the businesses, the properties, the savings, was safe again, rightfully theirs. But more important than the money, their father's name and his trust had been honored. Isaiah unfolded the letter again, running his fingers over the faded ink. Marcus placed a steady hand on his shoulder. "You made him proud, Isaiah," he said softly. Danielle nodded. "You made all of us proud." Outside, the rain had stopped. A deep orange sunset stretched across the sky, a new beginning. They were still healing, still hurting, but they knew they would carry their father's spirit into everything that came next, because the biggest battles aren't always fought with fists or guns. Sometimes they're fought with truth, with loyalty, with love. Isaiah didn't just protect his family's future, he honored his father's legacy in the most powerful way, by standing up for what was right, even when no one believed he could. And remember, no matter how strong the lies may seem, the truth will always have the final word. If Isaiah's story moved you, if you believe in standing up for what's right, even when the odds are against you, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another story of courage, family, and justice. And in the comments, tell us, have you ever had to stand up for the truth when no one else would? We want to hear your story.